There's a megaton of side content built into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and completing it would take more than twice as long as the 40 hours it takes to finish just the main storyline. That's upwards of 100 hours of optional content. But is all that extra stuff just padding, or is it worth maybe taking that road less traveled? As with previous regions, let's explore this concept as we continue our adventure into Nibelheim. In my previous videos, I offered a review of each area's repeatable side content, so be sure to go back and check those out in the playlist provided using the button on screen. For this video, I'll just be highlighting the aspects of these repeatable elements which are unique to Nibelheim. The Nibelheim region itself is yet another extremely unique environment in this game. The topography is a mixture of craggy mountainous peaks and cliffsides, unique caves, grassy lowlands, waterfront beaches and inlets, and islands which reach up out of the water just off the coast. The region is also accented with trees which either dot the landscape individually or can be found clustered in groups. Some of the trees are barren while others are full of foliage. I'm not sure what kinds of trees these are, but they are definitely giving northeastern US. My iPhone identifies at least some of them as Western larch or possibly European larch, so maybe my guess isn't too far off. Other fixtures which make this region unique are stone bridges and remnants of what appear to be abandoned outposts, leaving us to wonder what purpose these buildings might have served back when they were in use. Some of them resemble concrete lookout stations, which perhaps were used to keep watch for invasions from across the ocean during the war with Wutai, maybe? Who knows? But between these ruined structures and the state of disrepair seen at the region's airstrip, we really get the sense of just how remote this region is, as well as how neglected it has become. The Nibelheim region is home to yet another waterfront port, denoted by a reservoir or a water tower type structure adorned with an anchor. We've seen similar locations throughout our travels now, and since we're able to travel between Costa del Sol and Junon using them, it's my guess they'll serve as a means of fast travel between regions sometime near the end of Rebirth or possibly in Part 3 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake project. Also, a fence can be found north of Nibelheim village which blocks the way forward to Mount Nibel. This is in stark contrast to when a spirited teenage Tifa led Cloud and Sephiroth through that area in the flashback at the beginning of the game. One has to wonder why Shinra would have fenced this area off. Could it be that they needed to prevent the black robe figures from wandering beyond the village and up the mountain? And I do wonder whether we're going to get to explore past this fence sometime towards the end of this game or possibly retread that ground in Part 3. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's combat has been fast-paced, fluid, fun, and flexible. And with the arrival in Nibelheim, we can add fierce to that list as well. It seems the monsters found in this area come from a more stout stock than we've previously faced. Thankfully, the battle mechanics, unique abilities, awesome weapons, and variety of character fighting styles really help keep the combat so fresh and engaging. The combat intel challenges are great, because the goals associated with them sometimes require you as a player to change up your approach to tackling enemies in order to accomplish these specific tasks. Sitting atop the perch of the combat intel challenges is the King Zoo. This fiend is a massive threat and one tough turkey. It's a heavy hitter, has a decent sized health pool, uses crowd control skills to force our party into close quarters combat with it, and it has an instant kill technique which can wipe out our heroes if victory is not achieved before that move is executed.
Oh, man. Holy crap.
This fight was a lot of fun, and I'm glad some of these intel battles are challenging.
Keep it together.
Like Cosmo Canyon before it, the village of Nibelheim created a swirling wave of nostalgia for me as a fan of the OG Final Fantasy VII. I know players had already seen this location during the flashback which opened Rebirth, but there was just something about crossing those stone bridges and the way the village came into view as we walked through the mountain pass that just plucked a deep chord within me. I was compelled just to halt immediately and take it all in and capture it using photo mode. Not just once, but twice. Upon entering the village itself, Tifa and Cloud find that it's been rebuilt exactly the way they remember it. Wandering the various areas around the village and listening to all the conversations was super intriguing, especially given that Remake and Rebirth have been building this sense of tragic doom surrounding the Black Robes. I'm loving how the devs have approached this and changed them from mysterious figures in the OG for whom the players had no real attachment or concern if anything happened to them, and tied them directly to the main narrative in a meaningful way.
Time to go. To leave.
Square Enix knew that players would be emotionally invested in Cloud, so it makes sense that they would flesh out the Black Robes by making it obvious that they are ex-soldiers with Mako poisoning and cellular degradation.
There's no escaping the degradation. My friend.
It works so well, and it's a great example of what this remake project is doing correctly when it comes to expanding the lore and story of Final Fantasy VII. It was also interesting to see a female Black Robe wandering around the center of the village. I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we've encountered a robed individual who wasn't a dude. I know we've seen the likes of Lucia, however you pronounce her name, in Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, but she was a P0 class soldier, and there was recent dialogue from Rebirth indicating that those were a prototype class.
Glenn Ladbrock, ma'am. Ex-soldier, P0 class, a prototype.
And there was also dialogue in Ever Crisis which indicated P0 class soldiers were quote-unquote passive, which existed prior to Hojo's intense experiments using Mako and Genova cells on active class types. But meeting this one female soldier in Nibelheim confirms Shinra has experimented on women in the soldier program after the change to active class types as well. Likewise, turning the rebuilding of Nibelheim into a treatment center for the Black Robes is also an unexpected twist but a welcome change in Rebirth. The OG Final Fantasy VII provided vague bits of information for players to stumble across, explaining why Nibelheim was standing when the party arrived, such as notes from Hojo and references to the new residents being actors employed by Shinra. But overall, the primary and unspoken reason why the village was standing upon arrival was truly to reinforce Cloud's role as the unreliable narrator, a key crux of the OG Final Fantasy VII story. But as with other aspects of Remake and Rebirth, players obviously knew the original story by now, and the devs needed to make things fresh to maintain the feeling of mystery. I think it works so well here, and I'm glad they went this route. I was also surprised by how visceral my reaction became to the new locals as I wandered the village.
Get what you need, then leave.
How about you leave, pal? This is my home.
Fine, if you're that desperate to buy something.
Hey, listen, the last lady that manned this store was very, very nice to me, and she had her kids with her and everything, and they looked up to me. What's going on with you?
What do you want?
What do you want? I want a freaking home back.
I'm not sure if provoking players' emotions in this manner was the intent when writing the dialogue for the NPCs, but I have to believe it probably was. Either way, it certainly worked. By contrast, it was heartwarming to see the new residents of Nibelheim exercising in town. It's as if all the destruction wrought by Sephiroth couldn't diminish the teachings of Zangan. Or maybe the martial arts master has visited Nibelheim again since that fateful day years ago. I wonder if he was coming back in an attempt to locate Tifa, and I wonder if he'll pop back up in part 3 possibly. Before we move on to the side content, it's been really great to see our party grow and see all of their animations in the menu. It's also cool to see the menu adapt depending on the time of day in the story at that time. Likewise, it's been a fun experience in Rebirth to collect each of the characters' equipment, learn their unique abilities from each weapon, adapt to the characters' varied fighting styles, layer in all the different types of materia with the magic and skills they present, and then customize each of our friends' growth and development using the upgrades that can be received from the folio mechanic, which clearly draws significant inspiration from the sphere grid found in Final Fantasy X. Next up, let's explore the optional content found in Nibelheim. This area is home to 2 Queen's Blood players. Turner, a Shinra trooper found in the back room of the town hall, who prefers to goof off rather than work. And then there's a black robe which can be found in the upstairs bedroom of Tifa's house. Much like Christopher Walken with the cowbell, it seems the only thing that can quell the pain and insanity plaguing this guy is the sweet, sweet fun of playing Queen's Blood. The complexity and nuance of this collectible card game continues to mount as different types of cards are becoming available. Queen's Blood is insanely addictive and definitely the best minigame in Rebirth. There's really only a few ways I think they could improve the game further. One option would be to adopt inspiration from Final Fantasy VIII's Triple Triad, such as imposing rule changes in different regions of the world, or having the player lose cards instead of always gaining cards. Either of these modifications would increase the challenge rating of the game, and the latter option would provide a consequence for losing, something that I felt was lacking in the base game found in Rebirth, as players could just simply retry repeatedly in the QB matches until they finally won. It'd be nice if there was a way to up the stakes. Another idea would be to increase the size of the board. Having more than 3 rows feels like a natural way to expand the game and the strategies used to conquer opponents. And my last suggestion would be to add additional cards or tournaments with prizes later in the game. But perhaps these are improvements we might see in store for the final game of the Remake project. As usual, snaps can be found in the village of Nibelheim as well. This time around, his photo spot is out on one of the islands. As I mentioned before, I'm an avid fan of photo mode, so it was just wonderful to have a side mission that focuses on using this feature of the game. In fact, this may be the only game that I've ever played that has actually worked photo mode into the actual gameplay content, instead of just leaving it relegated to a mechanic found in the game that players could use if they wanted. Nice touch.
Ooh, is that a pool down there? What is this music?
Now on to the side missions. One point of interest to be explored in the Nibelheim region is a dilapidated estate owned by a renowned trainer of chocobos and riders alike, the apparently famous, or infamous, Chocobo Sage. As it turns out, after encountering him in both the grasslands and Corel regions before, Chocobo Billy is here to undergo some kind of Karate Kid style training prior to taking on Chocobo Sam in the races at the Gold Saucer.
So I came here to train.
Train? Here?
You don't know where you are? This is the home of the Chocobo Sage, a living legend. Surely you've heard of the man.
What in the world?
Did someone say living legend?
You right there, Grandpa?
You okay, sir?
I am now. Thought I was a goner.
What?
Mind telling me who you are? There don't get many visitors out here in the boonies.
This is Cloud. He's a jockey for Gramps' ranch.
Oh, he is, huh? Perfect. Billy here needs some help. You can pick up the poor boy's slack.
There's this big race at the Saucer, the Gold Cup, and it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
We gotta get in on that. So I came here to bone up. I'm learning all sorts of stuff. See?
Hey, tell me you're not buying this choco dung. Picking garbage out of a pool isn't training.
Work
It's
with
manual
pride, kid.
labor. You see it too, right? So weird. Come on, he's just jerking you around.
I suppose I haven't done much to pick up after him.
If you can flap your gums, you can move your gams. Now get on back to your training.
Sorry!
The old man is willing to help us, but first we'll have to wrangle this region's aviary ally, which I have affectionately named Selena Chocobez. Wrangling Selena requires patience as you lead her through a maze of cacti, which can be deflated to create a path for her to navigate through. The plants do re-inflate back to their usual form, so there's no time to dilly-dally or shilly-shally, or else old Selena Chocobez will get pricked and bolt for the horizon. Once you help lead this new vehicular vulture to the end of the maze, it's time to hop into the saddle and secure our new friend.
Impressive work by Cloud today. Though it wasn't easy, he finally brought the feisty Selena to heel. Lucky for him, because more attempts would have been humiliating.
After Selena has agreed to share her services with us, it's time to navigate the Nibelheim region on Chocoback. The distinctive properties of the chocobos found in this area is their ability to hover above water, which provides a unique method of traversal throughout this zone's many caves and islands. It was a very creative move by the devs to use the navigation in, around, and through these spaces to provide a fresh and different exploration experience for players. The Chocobo Sage tasks Cloud and his companions with collecting Chocograss throughout the region for some kind of questionable medicinal purposes.
Chocograss is a genuine panacea. I kid you not. It'll cure whatever ails you, and then some. And once I am cured, maybe I'll be inclined to share more stories about the good old days.
He's obviously full of it.
In any event, the Chocograss can be found floating all around the zone, from up high in the sky, to above rivers, to hidden in inlets or caves. Gathering the Chocograss allows you to trade for items in the shop and the stables. We also learn that Billy's father Will and Chocobo Sam were both trained here under the Sage.
Skills like those of... Hold on. I know this. I do. Why can't I remember? Oh, damn it! This is gonna bother me all day. Oh. Aha! There we go. It was Sam and Will.
What?
They were far and away my best disciples. As I was saying, you, Cloud, you may well become as talented a trainer as them one day.
Did I hear you right? Sam? You gotta tell me everything you know about him.
You're gonna give me whiplash, son.
The Sam guy you taught. You mean Chocobo Sam out of Midgar?
I do, but why do you want to know?
Because me and him, we got history. You see, I'm Will's son.
Well, don't that beat all? I'll never forget those two. They had such a powerful passion, and an eagerness to learn, too. Everything they did was for the birds.
That's not the Sam I know. Sam's a demon. He led my parents to an early grave. Got them hooked on gambling. Pushed them to rack up tons of debt. And then...
That don't sound like him to me. You sure you ain't got your Sams mixed up? It's a common name, you know.
Only one Sam in this business. I swore that I'd humiliate him by winning the Gold Cup. Destroy his reputation. Then I'd at least have some kind of revenge for what that bastard did to my parents.
Now that that's out of your system, back to it.
Excuse me?
You heard me. Thought you came out here to learn about chocobos, not to get revenge.
Please, tell me about my father.
Hold your chocobos, son. There's still one thing you need to do for me first.
What a surprise. This geezer isn't gonna tell you jack. Face it, kid.
You got a lot of nerve. Casting aspersions after all the wisdom I've shared.
All the what now?
So you haven't realized you've been training this whole time? Tracking down Selena forced you to get in touch with a Chocobo's feelings. And all that running across the water you did helped hone your sense of balance and your bird handling. Key skills for any aspiring jockey.
But he refuses to share any more details until Cloud proves himself on the racetrack. And so, it's time for our second Chocobo race, a trial against the Chocobo Mr. Miyagi himself. The race was fairly straightforward, and winning earned the respect needed for him to elaborate upon his time when Billy and Chloe's father was here with Chocobo Sam.
A promise is a promise, sir. Please tell me more about my dad and Uncle Sam.
All right then. What do you want to know? Let's see. They couldn't have been much older than you are now. The two of them came and asked me to take them under my wing. Turned them down, seeing as I'd already retired, but they hung around the grounds anyway. Since they had nothing better to do, I put them to work, and that's how it all began. Well, wasn't nothing out of the ordinary, I'd say. Ran some errands, did some repairs, helped around the house. You know, your standard training regimen. And in their downtime, they took it upon themselves to dig through my library, learning about chocobos and how to handle them. Came to differing conclusions. They used to argue something fierce. I can't say the two of them got on terribly well.
I figured.
Will and Sam had mighty strong opinions about how to best raise chocobos, and it drove them to fight, with their words and with their fists. That said, only reason those two fought as hard as they did is because they both cared deeply about the cause. As far as passion is concerned, the two of them were birds of a feather. How you feel now? Managed to sort out the mess inside?
What do you mean?
When we first met, I saw the way your eyes were brimming with anger. I knew right then and there that what you needed wasn't teaching or training. What you needed was time. Time to look deep inside yourself and clear out all the wickedness and spite that have been haunting your heart.
Which is why you had him clean out the pool?
Exactly. I don't know what happened to your father after he left this place. And I can understand why you'd want to beat old Sam in a race. Few things feel better than sticking it to someone who did you wrong. But that being said, you should never use your birds as tools for revenge. Ask yourself, why did I decide to start raising chocobos?
I guess it's 'cause I saw how happy those birds made my mom and dad. How they'd smile. The chocobos brought us a lot of fun, and brought us together as a family. I guess that's why.
Good enough. The why is important, so don't forget yours. I reckon Sam's got his eyes on the gold cup. Keep yours unclouded by hatred, and you'll do fine.
Thank you, sir.
Sadly, we
Thanks
won't
for
get the rest
everything.
of this story
I'm
until
gonna
we
head
get back to the gold saucer
Make
and
sure
help
our birds are
Chocobo
ready for
Billy
the big
win
race.
the gold cup. One final note before moving on from this side mission. After visiting the home of the sage, an interesting conversation about Chocobo Sam triggers with Yuffie as we continue to travel.
Hey, since you seem to be in the know, give me the skinny. Who's the Sam guy?
Big shot in Wall Market.
Uh-huh. So he must be pretty scummy.
I don't know. Renale business aside, it didn't strike me as a total asshole.
Interesting. Or maybe your powers of perception weren't honed enough to see through his facade.
That's gotta be it.
If only I had found you sooner. I could have saved you from your own gullibility.
The other notable side mission in Nibelheim involves stopping by Cloud's former home, where the party encounters some kind of melodic chef in need of assistance.
Hello, dear. May I help you?
Just listening. You've got a great voice.
Oh, you flatter me. I didn't even know I was doing it. You see, this cat I feed sometimes has gone missing. And when I worry, I cannot help but sing.
Hey,
Maybe it's Fluffy.
sounds like a job for a merc, doesn't it?
Well, aren't you the picture of confidence? You wouldn't happen to be a professional feline finder, would
Done it
you?
before.
Not officially, but I've got a good cat catching record. Been doing it since I was a kid.
I'm Christine, by the way, chef and chanteuse. You might want to start by looking around the foot of Mount Nibel. She's got the most beautiful snow-white coat. Petite little thing, too. Speaking of, she must be starving out there. Here, be sure to feed her.
Bowl of cat food. Come on, Tifa. Let's go find a cat.
All this talk of cats makes me think of Fluffy.
Yeah, the one and only. What happened to her, anyway?
No idea. Haven't seen her since the fire 5 years ago.
Damn.
I can't shake the feeling that I just left her to die. I really hope she's okay, but if she's not...
Cloud and Tifa then have a nice chat as they head out along the path leading towards Mount Nibel.
Hey, there's something I've been meaning to ask you.
What?
How come you named your cat Fluffy? It's not like her fur was long or super soft or anything.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't the one who named her. The mayor gave her to me as a gift for my 12th birthday. When he put her in my arms, he said, "This little lady's name is Fluffy," but he never explained why. Don't get me wrong, I was dead set on giving her a better name. But before I could, everyone had already started calling her Fluffy. And the more I heard it, the more I thought, well, maybe it's not that bad. So I let it stick. I wasn't much of a fighter back in those days. Hard to believe looking at me now.
Which is then followed by an unexpected discovery.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. Maybe Fluffy had kittens.
Kittens? I can't believe it. Fluffy? Hey, girl. How you doing? It's me, Tifa. Remember?
Aww.
You're okay. Thank God. Aww. Fluffy, what's wrong?
Oh no.
She doesn't look so good.
Let's try giving her the cat food.
Or cast cure on her.
There's plenty more where this came from, so dig in.
Oh, she recovered. Good. Oh boy.
Leave him alone.
Our party must step in and save Fluffy and her family of kittens from a dangerous swarm of bees and their queen.
There we go, got him.
I'm a little worried Fluffy and the kittens might have been hurt. Do you mind if we head back to the village? You know, if we asked her nicely, I bet that head chef would take care of the kittens. I mean, can't say no to both of us, right?
Guess we'll see. Come on.
Let's take a look.
Huh. Guess even she can tell this place is nothing like it used to be.
That's probably why she never came back here.
What is it? Fluffy?
After the bugs are vanquished and we've escorted the cats back to the village, the chef is filled with gratitude.
And just look at brought back with you?
She gave birth to her litter on the mountain.
Oh, sweetling, you're going to be a great mommy.
I hope this is all right. It wasn't exactly safe for a bunch of kittens. Couldn't just leave them, so...
Don't be silly, dear. You did the right thing. I'll take excellent care of this family. They'll want for nothing.
Well, there you go.
Long I've dreamed of opening my home to little ones to play and romp and love. La 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 la. If I'm going to take these cats in, they're going to need names. You've got such beautiful white fur. Blanca. Yes, that fits perfectly, don't you think? As for the kittens, we'll decide later.
Actually, the cat's already got a name.
She's not gonna... Yeah.
Lastly, Tifa is asked to perform an impromptu piano recital, and it ends up being an awesome and sweet scene.
Tifa can play.
Cloud?
Nice. Yeah.
What a wonderful idea. You'll humor us, dear, won't you?
Okay. Just a bit.
Hold that thought. This occasion calls for an accompaniment. I know some folks who would just love the chance to perform. Don't go anywhere.
What?
That escalated quickly. I wasn't expecting an audience.
Nope.
I haven't practiced since I was a kid. What should I do?
Back out?
Well, that's not an option.
Then I think you better get warmed up.
Marvelous! Simply marvelous!
How was it?
Honestly, I'm impressed. You sure you haven't played since you were a kid?
She's played Coast del Sol.
Wow, a genuine compliment. Glad that you could help. Take care of the cats for me.
I certainly will.
Nice.
Rest assured, I'll keep them very well fed. So bring your appetites. All right, come along then.
Playing that piano again brought back a lot of memories. How Mom used to teach me while Dad was downstairs in the kitchen doing his best, which was pretty good. Hangouts with Emilio and the gang, which we kept inviting you to, but you never came.
Never? Really?
Really? But you seemed fine on your own.
That what it looked like? That I enjoyed being alone?
You didn't?
Of course not.
Huh. Guess we still don't know each other that well.
Let's change that.
Never too late to make up for lost time.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm glad we came.
Yeah. Glad we found Fluffy, too.
I think you mean Blanca. But yeah, I hope she and the kittens are happy here.
To wrap up, Nibelheim is an iconic location in the original Final Fantasy VII and is definitely delivered here in Rebirth. All of the crucial story beats were present to progress the main story, and there was also the right amount of side content to satisfy us without bogging down the main narrative. The strength and core of the game continues to be its cast, and the side quest focusing on Fluffy is a prime example of that point. It was so great to see Tifa get to have a moment of happiness upon being reunited with her pet, as well as playing a piano in what should have been her room, in her home. It was just awesome to see her get that moment without all the cares and worries associated with Shinra, or Mako, or devastation weighing her down. And then, to see her selflessly let the cat be renamed, it rounded off the moment on a bittersweet note, which allowed her to let go of both Fluffy and Nibelheim. Then, if we add the support and encouragement Cloud provided to her, it really does feel like we're watching the relationship grow between two real people. Given the fact that all of this character development was found in optional side content, it strengthens my firm stance that the players who skip the side stuff miss out on so much more this game has to offer than if you just follow the main story. As such, I find Rebirth's road of side content to be completely worthwhile, and it makes a profound difference. Play it for yourself, and be sure you don't miss out.